Hey, church, happy Halloween. Also, happy Reformation Day. Today has an interesting convergence of religion, of culture, and of history in it that I think is worth stopping and taking note of. So, first off, it's Halloween. That's great. Go be a good neighbor in your communities tonight, whatever that means for you. Two, it is Hallows Ween. It is the eve of All Hallows Day. Leading us into All Saints, which we will celebrate this coming Sunday. All Saints Day is a day marked out on the church calendar where we remember those who have passed on, and in doing so, we get to recognize what God has been up to in the lives of the saints, those who have been set apart for life with God, that God has been up to something with those who have gone before us, that God is up to something now, and we believe that God is going to be up to something in the future. That is worth celebrating. That's what we're up to this Sunday. It's also Reformation Day. It was on All Hallows Eve, on Halloween in 1517, that Martin Luther would post his 95 complaints, his 95 theses, that would kick off what we know as the Protestant Reformation, that would transform Europe and the global church. It's important to remember that the Reformation also triggers the Counter-Reformation. After the Protestant Reformation, the Catholic Church says, that Luther guy with the funny hat, he might have been right about a few of those things. So the Catholic Church takes steps to clean house, to make Christian information more available, to get rid of a lot of the corruption and weird money stuff in European Catholic society, religion, politics, states. They were all mixed together. And so the Reformation kicks off the Counter-Reformation. But there are other people reforming around the same time. The impact of the Reformation and the impact of the Renaissance reach England at the same time and lead to the birth of Anglicanism and the Church of England splitting off from the Roman Catholic Church. Did you know that not all Baptists consider themselves Protestant? I think we should celebrate, or at least acknowledge, Reformation Day as Baptists. But just like how the Anglican tradition in England comes from the influence of the Protestant Reformation converging with the influence of the Renaissance, what leads to the Free Church movement, what leads to the Baptist movement, is a combination of interesting factors, including the Protestant Reformation, but not limited to it. So some churches don't consider themselves a part of it. But I think it would be very hard to imagine a church like ours existing if the Reformation had not taken place the way it did. So a good day to remember that God is at work in the movements and the rolling and the turning, the churning of history is wild and frantic and full of these big players and forgotten players. But God is always working something out. God is not necessarily doing the things. I do think God empowered and inspired the Reformation and the Counter-Reformation. But it is God who, as Joseph says, pulls good out of bad. What was intended for evil, God can twist back towards good and beauty and life. And that is a good thing to celebrate this Halloween, especially as we look at global politics, as we look at the state of the world, as we look at the state of our country, our cities, our communities, our families. Allow God to make good out of whatever circumstances you're in, and as much as possible, as far as it is up to you, live peaceably with those around you. Happy Halloween. Happy Reformation Day. I'll see you all, saints. Don't forget to vote next week.